What's up, everyone? It's Scotty with MoneyVest. So today we are going to be talking about Costco, one of the largest retailers in the United States, and they are going to be reporting earnings next week. So I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this retailer. We're going to talk a little bit about the fundamentals, the company overview, the total addressable market, and of course, intrinsic value, as well as the technical analysis on this stock as well. Hope you all enjoyed, find it helpful. If you do, make sure that you drop a like and of course subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. And link to our Discord and Patreon is going to be down below if you're interested in joining and of course being a part of our MoneyVest community. You get access to all the members only private videos, Excel spreadsheets, we've got intrinsic values, volatility spreadsheets, S&P 500, Discord channel, trade alerts, trade ideas. Everything is going to be included with the link down below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and I'm happy to help along the way. And you do have access to all the fundamental, technical, option, and psychology courses. Links down below for that as well. Lifetime access, and also do connect with me on Instagram. My handle is going to be CASWRP. I do post lots of interesting stories, behind the scenes stuff, portfolio updates, and a lot of other videos as well over there. So links going to be down below for all of it. Connect with me there, and I'd really appreciate that. So Costco reporting earnings after the bell on the 14th, on December 14th, so right after the Fed meeting. And the earnings expectations are $3.42 with an EPS of $3.40 on a GAAP basis and a revenue of over $57 billion with 8 upgrades over the last 90 days and 4 downgrades over the last 3 months as well. Now, Costco, as of the fourth quarter ending in September 2023, was the third largest global retailer. I'm assuming it's after Walmart and of course Amazon and even Target and the likes. So again, third largest global retailer is a pretty big deal. 11th largest in Fortune 500 and $242 billion market cap. This is as of September 3rd, 2023. And core merchandise categories for Costco, as we already know, it's a pretty big retailer, but it does sell a lot of food items like dry groceries, candy, cooler, freezer, deli, liquor, and tobacco products, including non-food items such as appliances, electronics, health and beauty aids, hardware, garden, patio, supporting goods, tires, toys, and seasonal office supplies, automotive care, postage, tickets, apparel, and the list goes on and on and on. And fresh foods, including meat, produce, service, deli, and bakery as well, including their very famous, what was it, $1 for the hot dog or the pizza, something that's for $1 on Costco, and it hasn't really increased at all in a very long time. So even as inflation's gone up, that particular item, I think it's a hot dog or a pizza, it stayed at $1 for Costco. Now, this right here are the number of warehouses and the locations. Over 871 warehouses overall worldwide. That's as of November 30th, 2023. And 600 locations in 47 U.S. states and Puerto Rico. 108 locations in 9 Canadian provinces, and several locations in Southeast Asia, in Europe, and other parts of the world. And membership data. Now, this is probably one of the most smart, most intelligent, and interesting things that Costco has done is the membership, right? This right here is basically where a lot of the revenue and the profit, basically the profit, because membership is essentially free money, right? They're giving the members discounts and other benefits which make their experience really, really good, and at the same time also helps generate a lot of revenue and earnings and profitability for Costco. So they have almost 128 million cardholders in 71 million households. So think of it as very similar to Prime, right? Amazon Prime, where Amazon's kind of like this e-commerce business, and Prime members get a lot of benefit, and Prime membership has grown significantly, and as a result, the company is able to generate a lot of revenue, and it's also a very high margin business because there's really no cost associated with it. They're just giving additional benefits, and same thing is true with Costco, and annual revenues are now at $237 billion for the company as well. Now, this right here is going to be Costco's stock performance, which has done really well over the last 5 years on a cumulative basis, which is higher than the S&P 500, S&P 500 Retail, and S&P 500 Retail Select Sector Index as well. So it has done really, really well over the last 5 years. And this right here is going to be members, 71 million households, 127.9 million cardholders, 92.7% renewal rate in the US and Canada is extremely strong. Like, this is just insanely good renewal rate for Costco. That just goes to show that they're doing something right, where members want to renew their membership with Costco. They're getting huge discounts and savings, and it's kind of like this recurring business where they are going to get from memberships. A very sticky business as well. And $4.6 billion in membership fees, which of course is a pretty small number relative to the overall revenues, but I'm sure that $4.6 billion has very, very high gross margins because, again, it's a membership business, so there's not really a lot of costs associated with that type of revenue. Now, if you take a look at gross margins, a 10.48% increase to 10.6 in 2023, a pretty nice, decent growth in overall revenues, $222 to $237 billion, and membership grew 1.95%. SG&A was a little bit under 9%. Operating income was just over $8.1 billion. That's up from operating income from last year, and net income was also up from 5.8 to over 6.3 billion, and diluted earnings per share from $13 to $14 per share for the company. And dividends initiated in May 2004 at 40 cents, currently at $4.08 annually. So it's, again, a dividend aristocrat with a compounded annual growth rate of 13% and $1.8 billion annually. And this right here is also share repurchases and capital expenditures. 433,000 shares repurchased as of the fourth quarter 23, and $230 million worth of shares repurchased in the fourth quarter, and CapEx was just over $1.5 billion. Now, this right here are some of the estimates in terms of how big can Costco really get in terms of its revenue and total market. So various analyst estimates estimate that Costco's TAM is going to be somewhere between $500 billion and close to $1 trillion, right? So that's pretty obvious and pretty self-explanatory because retail is a very big market, and Costco, being the third largest retailer in the world, definitely has a pretty significant dominant share in this entire market and only has the opportunity to grow and, of course, increase its revenues given how large the total addressable market really is. Now, if you take a look at the revenues, Costco is nothing but consistent, right? So it has gone from $112 billion. You can see the linear growth, a very nice consistency here, to over $242, $243 billion. And gross profit has also gone from 14.1 to well over $30 billion on a trailing 12-month basis, is sitting at under 30.1. And operating income has gone from 3.2 billion to now well over $8.5 billion as well. This right here is going to be net income. So just from $2 billion to well over $6.3 billion for the company. And of course, diluted earnings per share from $4.65 to well over $14 per share for the company. So again, very nice consistent growth, 3x growth over the last 9 to 10 years, and diluted earnings per share from 442 million to 444 million shares. So slight increase in the overall share count, but we've got revenue, earnings, gross profit, and EBITDA, everything moving the right direction, and of course growing. This right here is going to be margins, so 12.4% gross margins. We've got EBITDA margins at just a little bit over 4%, net income just over 2.6. Now this number can increase over time, and the reason I say that is because as the membership grows for Costco, it's possible that it can leverage that sort of opportunity and increase its overall margins because of the membership, like I said, is a very high margin business relative to retail and e-commerce, and just moving physical goods is a lower margin business, right? So this number is certainly subject to improvement over time, and free cash flow margins at 2.2%, and we got return on common equity, assets, and capital actually very strong at over 9, 15, 27% respectively, and 19,900 has been the profit per employee for Costco, which is slightly higher from 19,200 on a 5-year average basis. Now, this right here is going to be the valuation. Before that, let's just jump over to the balance sheet, and balance sheet surprisingly is very good for a company like Costco. We're sitting on more cash than debt on the balance sheet, so $15 billion worth of cash with a little bit over $10.5 billion of debt. So net debt is going to be negative $4.7 billion. So again, that's a very strong balance sheet, more cash than debt. Now, current and quick ratio is a little bit of a problem, especially quick ratio when you take inventory out. We're sitting at less than 1, which is a little bit concerning, and debt to free cash flow also a bit over 8, which isn't really a big deal because the company does have more cash than debt on the balance sheet, so it doesn't really matter all that much, but this is what matters, right? The company's growth expectations are not that high, and as a result, it is trading at a valuation which could be argued as really, really expensive at over 43, 38, 43 times earnings multiple, with an enterprise value to EBITDA multiple of 25, 23, and of course, we got a price to cash flow at over 24 to 27 as well. So we are looking at a stock which, again, is a great business, great company, yet trading at a little bit of a higher valuation at the moment. So price to earnings, price to sales, enterprise value to EBITDA, and price to cash flow trading certainly at more on the expensive side. Now, this right here is going to be earnings expectations. So we've got a little bit over $15.66 expected to grow at over $34. So if you plug in those numbers into our spreadsheet, we're looking at a compounded annual growth rate of just over 9%. So a little bit over 9% is going to be that CAGR for Costco. And if we plug those numbers in to our analysis on what that's going to look like, because let's just go over to the shares outstanding. We're looking at about 444.5 million. And of course, the actual EPS is 1566. So 444.5 times 15.6. We're looking at a earnings per share, or basically net income, at just under 7 billion. So if you plug in, let's say 7 billion here, and we assume a growth rate of about 14%, let's just go with that at 25 times P multiple. Discount rate, we can go a little bit lower on the discount rate because the Costco does pay out a pretty decent dividend. So the dividend yield on Costco is going to be just under 1%. So you can actually go with 11% here, 10% margin of safety, negative 1% share dilution, even though they haven't bought back a lot of shares over the last 10 years, but they have been a little bit more active more recently. And the fair value drops down to $427 is where we are, and the current share price at $610 per share. So that's where we are with the intrinsic value. This is going to be that sensitivity grid, considering the conservative earnings per share growth and the price to earnings multiple for the business. We end up at around 427. So low 400s is what I would consider fair for Costco at the moment. Of course, right now it is pretty much trading at an all-time high at well over $600 per share. So that would require us to see a drop of at least 30%, which I guess is not that much. It's quite reasonable. In fact, it was at $530 up until just a few weeks ago. So that right there, of course, would be a support. And this right here is the overall symmetrical triangle. So for the longest time, Costco was kind of in this symmetrical triangle. So lower highs and higher lows, and eventually a huge breakout, came back down to validate that support, and of course, breaking out even further to a new all-time high. So right now, very strong support sitting right here, $531, and a much better support in an area of demand is going to be right here inside this green rectangle, sitting at 440s, and that's actually going to be more in line with the intrinsic value for Costco. But nonetheless, it has done incredibly well. Year to date, the stock's at an all-time high, up a little bit over 33%, trading and outperforming the S&P and the NASDAQ as well. So can't complain. Congratulations to anyone who's been trading or investing in this company. Very, very solid business model, and support level is going to stable right here, 603 down to $531 for Costco as well moving forward. So earnings are coming up next week, so I'll break that down in more detailed video next week after the earnings come out. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below for Costco. Are you buying, selling, or holding? What are your thoughts on this? As always, if you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Don't forget to connect with me on Instagram. My handle is going to be CasWRP. Fundamental technical analysis, options, and psychology course available for a lifetime. Link's going to be down below. And also do check out our Patreon and our Discord if you want to get access to members-only videos, trade alerts, find out exactly what I'm buying and selling, so trade ideas and buy and sell alerts, as well as Excel spreadsheets as well. So as always, happy investing. I'll see you all in the next video.